Today is July 1st, 2025. It's hard to remember a time before our phones were our worlds. We wake up and we scroll. We wait in line and we scroll. Instagram shows us perfect pictures of our friends' lives. It shows us beautiful places we want to visit someday. TikTok gives us short, funny videos that make us laugh. It teaches us new dances and recipes in just a few seconds. These apps are a huge part of our daily routine. They fill the small, empty moments in our day. We use them to feel connected, to be entertained, and to see what everyone else is doing. Imagine waking up one morning to find them both gone. No more TikTok, no more Instagram. The apps simply won't open. At first, there would be confusion. People would restart their phones thinking it was just a glitch. They would check their Wi-Fi connections over and over again. Then a strange quiet would settle in. The constant stream of updates, likes and comments would just stop. For many young people, this would feel like a part of them is missing. Their window to the world has suddenly been boarded up without any warning. The habit of reaching for the phone would remain, but the reward would be gone. This sudden digital silence would create a major void. Think about all the hours spent scrolling through endless feeds. That time is now empty. This could lead to feelings of boredom and even anxiety for some. Our brains have become used to the quick dopamine hits from new notifications and viral videos. Without that constant stimulation, the world might seem slower and less exciting. People might feel restless, unsure of what to do with themselves. This is not just about losing an app, it is about losing a primary source of entertainment and social interaction that has shaped a generation's daily life. The world would feel different almost immediately. On the bus, people might look out the window instead of at their screens. In cafes, friends might talk to each other without interruption. The pressure to capture the perfect photo of your coffee or your lunch would disappear. Life would become less about performing for an online audience. It would be more about living in the moment. This change would be jarring. It would force us all to confront a life that is less curated and less filtered. We would have to find new ways to fill our time and our minds. With TikTok and Instagram gone, young people would have to find new ways to spend their time. The hours once dedicated to creating content or endlessly scrolling would suddenly be free. What would they do with all this newfound time? Perhaps they would rediscover old hobbies that had been pushed aside. Maybe they would pick up a guitar that has been gathering dust in the corner. They might start reading books again, not for school, but for pleasure. The creative energy that went into making 15-second videos could be channeled into something else, like painting, writing, or learning a new skill. Outdoor activities could see a huge comeback. Instead of watching videos of people hiking, more kids might actually go hiking themselves. Parks and basketball courts could become more popular places to hang out. There would be a shift from watching life happen on a screen to actually participating in it. This could lead to a healthier generation, both mentally and physically. Spending more time outside and being physically active has proven benefits. It can reduce stress and improve mood. This change could push young people away from a passive, screen-based life toward a more active, engaged one. Of course, not all the free time would be spent on productive hobbies. Some of it would just be spent being bored, and that is not necessarily a bad thing. Boredom is often where creativity begins. When our minds are not constantly filled with content from a feed, they have space to wander. This can lead to new ideas and deeper thinking. Young people might spend more time just talking with their friends, coming up with their own games and adventures. The quiet moments that were once filled with scrolling could now be filled with imagination and real-world exploration. New apps would surely try to fill the void left by the giants, but maybe the next big thing wouldn't be an app at all. Perhaps there would be a return to more tangible forms of entertainment and connection. We might see a rise in local clubs, community sports and neighborhood events. The focus could shift from global trends to local connections. People might become more invested in their immediate surroundings and the people in them. The end of these apps would force a re-evaluation of what we consider a valuable way to spend our time, maybe leading us back to simpler, more direct experiences. Friendships would change in a world without Instagram and TikTok. So much of modern friendship happens through likes, comments, and direct messages. We keep up with our friends by watching their stories. We see their vacation photos and their new pets. Without these apps, staying in touch would require more effort. You would have to actually call someone or send them a text message to see how they are doing. This might mean we would have fewer but deeper connections. The casual friendships maintained only through passive scrolling might fade away, leaving more time for the people who really matter. Sharing news and life updates would also look very different. Important announcements like getting a new job or getting engaged are often made on Instagram. Without that platform, people would have to share their news more personally. They might call their close friends and family first. They might send out emails or even printed announcements for very big events. This would make sharing news a more intimate and deliberate act. It would be less about broadcasting to a wide audience and more about sharing with a chosen circle. The social pressure to have a picture-perfect announcement would be gone. Staying connected with friends who live far away would become more challenging. Instagram and TikTok have been powerful tools for maintaining long-distance relationships. They allow us to see a visual diary of our friends' lives, making us feel closer despite the miles. Without them, people would need to find other ways to bridge the distance. Perhaps video call apps like FaceTime or Skype would become even more important. People might also return to writing long emails or even letters. The nature of these connections would shift from constant passive updates to less frequent but more meaningful interactions. The way we discover what is happening in the world would also be transformed. For many young people, TikTok and Instagram are major sources of news and information. They learn about social movements, political events, and cultural trends through short videos and infographics. Without these platforms, they would need to turn to other sources. This could lead them to more traditional news websites, television news, or newspapers. It might encourage a deeper engagement with news, requiring them to read full articles instead of just watching a quick summary. This could be a positive change, leading to a more informed and media-literate generation. The disappearance of TikTok and Instagram would cause a massive shock to the creator economy. For thousands of influencers, these platforms are not just a hobby, they are their entire business. Their income comes from brand partnerships, sponsored posts, and affiliate marketing. Overnight, their careers would vanish. They would lose their audiences, their content archives, and their primary source of revenue. These creators would face a difficult choice: try to rebuild on a different platform or find a completely new career path. Their skills in video editing, photography, and community building would still be valuable, but they would need to find a new place to apply them. Businesses that rely heavily on Instagram and TikTok for marketing would also be in trouble. Small businesses, in particular, have used these platforms to reach customers without a large advertising budget. A viral video or a popular post could lead to a huge increase in sales. Without these tools, companies would have to find new ways to market their products. They might have to invest more in traditional advertising, like print ads or television commercials. They could also focus on building email lists or creating their own blogs and websites. This would force a major shift in marketing strategies, likely benefiting larger companies with more resources. The influencer marketing industry, worth billions of dollars, would have to reinvent itself. Brands would no longer be able to simply pay an influencer for a post. They would need to find new ways to connect with potential customers. This could lead to a rise in popularity for platforms like YouTube, which allows for longer, more detailed content. Or perhaps brands would start working more with bloggers who have their own dedicated websites. The focus might shift from quick visual ads to more in-depth reviews and tutorials. The entire relationship between brands, creators, and consumers would need to be rebuilt from the ground up. Ultimately, would this change be for the better? There are clear positives and negatives. We might become less anxious, less depressed, and more connected to the real world. We could develop deeper friendships and more meaningful hobbies. However, many people would lose their jobs and businesses would struggle to adapt. We would lose a powerful tool for global connection and creative expression. The end of TikTok and Instagram would not be a simple solution to all our problems. It would be a complex shift with unpredictable consequences, forcing us to ask what we truly value: the filtered perfection of a screen or the messy reality of the world around us.